Good evening. Tonight we are joined by UK duo Adele and Andy. So thank you very much for joining us and also for taking over our Instagram feed today.
Thank you very much, and we've enjoyed it. It's been mostly Adele. Adele's been with at work, so she's taken the phone and been looking after the puppy who at the moment, as you can see, is sitting in a knee because he won't go down.
So I think we need to start back in October 2019 when you first started releasing music. Was it always the plan to kind of constantly drip feed new music?
I think when we started, we didn't really have a plan. I think we kind of fell into it really, and got to a stage where we released a single and followed it up quickly with another one and so on. But before we knew it, we kind of got a whole sort of bunch of tracks, an album full of tracks. And I think it was only then we started to say, right, what we're going to do next. And one of my friends, Ian, said. Well, he basically said, Adele's voice sounds really country, why don't you go down that route? So that's what we did. And then quickly released a country single. And then from there really, it's been a much more planned approach that we would basically get three singles out, and then we focused on the EP that came out early part of this year.
So did you have quite a few songs kind of ready to release before you started putting music online?
I think, to be honest, when we first started, we didn't kind of label ourselves as a country duo. We were still finding our feet and experimenting with different kind of things. As much as our songs were very personal to us, we weren't country then, so.
So I think August last year we made the conscious decision that we would go down the country route, and we got three songs that we'd kind of been working on, and we released those kind of back to back, and then we carried on really throughout that process writing more songs. It came really quite naturally to us, and it was then that we said, right, we're gonna wrap it up into an EP, and again. It was then, well, what do we do next? And I think again we basically said we've been doing a lot of live streams and we've had a lot of good feedback on some more new songs. So that's why we released the single ahead of the EP that's coming out later on this year. So a second EP.
So how important was kind of some of the support then from the country music community when you made that move and decided that was the route you were going to take?
Yeah, I mean, massive really. Because I think we're talking less than 12 months ago really, and we didn't really know anybody in the country scene. And the first guy that we got in touch with was a guy called Will Hope, who did a lot of work for us and got us around a lot of people. And at that point really, we weren't sure how to penetrate the market because it was already quite a lot of people in that particular field. And we got involved with Ken Mickey at Country Music Social Media and Rachel Selleck, and from there really we haven't looked back really. They've done a fantastic job promoting us, and we've done a lot of work ourselves in terms of live streams, really getting our name out there.
I think support wise it's been really nice as well, because I think, as a lot of people do, I question myself a lot as an artist, and I kind of go, I don't sound as country as some other artists do, because they've got that
kind of American, sort of Nashville sound. Yeah.
However, the feedback we've had is it's not just about your sound, it's about the story and the way your music's produced and things like that. It's been really nice to have that support and that reassurance.
And interestingly, the American audience really like it as well, because it is is a different kind of sound. But yeah, I mean, everybody within the whether it's radio stations or bloggers or just generally people with pages who've allowed us to go and do live streams, the support's been incredible.
So what's it been like though, having to build a fan base that way compared to having these live shows in front of people?
It has been harder, because when we first entered the country scene, we've only done one gig as a country duo, and that was with alongside Charlotte Young at Dead Wax in Digbeth. So that's all people have really seen of us in person.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it in two different ways.
Yeah.
Really, one is that you haven't got the closeness, the relationship, with actually seeing people, face to face. But what it has done is it has allowed us to get to a much wider community through social media. Really, so two steps back, if you like, and three forward, really, for us, because we've been able to really get in front of a lot of people, and we've built up a really nice community following on Twitch, for example, where we stream.
We love Twitch. I think whenever we get the chance, we'll go Twitch. Come to Twitch because it's so nice and it's much more like intimate, and people can feel like they are getting more involved because you've got like a behind the scenes kind of page called like a Discord page, and you've got that they can come on and they can pick the songs that you play. Whereas when you're streaming on like Facebook and Instagram, they can't do that. Yeah. So I think
it feels much more like a concert than it does doing a live stream on Instagram or Facebook, really.
Okay, you're going to play a few songs for us tonight. Which song are you going to start with first for us then?
Should we start? Do you want to start with Where I Belong or No More Goodbyes? I'll let you have the
Where
choice.
I Belong.
Okay, so it's the title track from our EP.
Just gonna
called Where I Belong. Just bear with us while we just put the pot down.
Just put him to bed.
So this song, really, on the EP, what we tried to do is we tried to tie all the songs together, and it's all kind of about relationships, really. And it's this particular song sort of was me looking back at some of the problems that I had before Adele and I got together. And it was us basically saying that, until you experience some of the really difficult moments in life, you can't really appreciate the good times. And happily, I got back to Where I Belong, which is the title track of the EP.
Yeah, couldn't find that then. Which one more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Run around in circles, I miss myself again. I'm not sure where I am going, and I don't know where I've been. The pain that I am feeling, it cuts just like a knife, waiting for sentence, and it walked into my life, and I'm feeling alive again. Seemed like the end of the road back then. I was a prisoner, my mistake, but then you came along. Giving me all the things that I crave. I've escaped and found a place where I belong. Winter's turned to summer. The black clouds have passed. It's been a long time coming, but I'm back home at last, and I'm feeling alive again. Seemed like the end of the road back then. I was a prisoner, my mistake, but then you came along. Now I'm riding the crest of a wave. You're giving me all the things that I crave. I've escaped and found a place where I belong.
Thank you so much for that one. So what stood out about that as a sort of an EP title for you?
I think because, as I say, what we were trying to do really was to tie the songs together. I think it kind of epitomised everything, because No More Goodbyes really was a song about where we got together really, and it was quite difficult really for us as a couple to actually make that step. And then Echoes of the Forest really was a kind of metaphor really about, you know, sort of getting out of your comfort zone to actually go and do the things that you perhaps ordinarily wouldn't do. And once you'd done that really, it was hard to get back to where you were. And Misty Eyes was about relationships. So again, that really was about the idea that, you know, we have expectations when we get together with somebody and they don't often work out. But I think, you know, where I belong really tied it all together, and for me and for you to an extent, wasn't it? Was that, you know, as two individuals, we know what we want as individuals, but we had to actually go through all sorts of difficult times to actually get back there and obviously
get where we belong.
Where we are now.
So when it came to releasing the EP, had you set yourself any goals of kind of what you wanted to achieve with it?
I think at first we do, but then we take a step back and we go, let's be realistic.
Yeah. We were quite shocked in that. Obviously, the first three singles we had no expectation at all, and we managed to get into the iTunes chart with Say It Out Loud and got to number 27 or something. Then we improved that with Took His Love Away, and by the time we got to Misty Eyes, we got to number 4, and it was like, wow, you know, actually people might actually like us. And then of course you do the EP, of which Misty Eyes was one of the tracks, and you kind of then think, is this going to, you know, will people actually get involved in the EP? And we were absolutely taken aback, weren't we? To get to number 3 in the iTunes charts, to get so many plays on Spotify, and really to get so much good press. I mean, some of the stuff that was written about us, we would never have believed would be. So yeah, I think we surpassed our expectations, I think.
So on the chart for the EP, I think it was it a compilation album at number 1 and Willie Nelson at number 2, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yes, it was. And there was one point where we got very close to Willie Nelson, because if you look on the all genre chart, you can see how far away. And yeah, so we were happy. We were happy with where we were, you know. And obviously the compilation one, you know, I think it's something that people just get stuck into, isn't it? So, you know, to get there to number 3, and some people don't take a lot of stall by the iTunes charts, but it's still nice, isn't it? You know, to get in there and to get your name about. And but I think what was more important was all the stuff that was written about us. You know, some remarkable stuff that, you know, we were just humbled to you know, for people who were quite, you know, instrumental or big players in the industry saying such nice things about us. And then of course, to win the duo of the year through
Live Country Sessions
kind of topped it really, and it was all happening around about the same time. And then of course we knew that we'd written another song that we knew this song was going to be a song that people liked. Don't ask me why, we just knew that it was, and of course it came out, as you know, last week, and again it did incredibly well really. We're very proud of it.
So has releasing music got any easier? Have the nerves sort of gone down at all?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you watched us 6 months ago to how we are now, we are very different.
We were like 2 cardboard cutouts when we first started streaming and everything, and now I think we've just learned to be ourselves and just embrace the nuttiness. But I have to be honest.
And I think, you know, the nervousness about the release, will people like it? I think you know yourself when you've done something. You can't always gauge it, but I think you know yourself. As much as I miss you, had that have not done well, it would have been a real downer, because we actually thought it was the first track that we've done that we actually went, this is decent.
We love this.
This is a decent track, you know. So.
And we never get like what's that saying, above our station
Never
kind of
goes.
thing. So we never
No.
go, do you know what, number one this is. But we did sit and go, this is actually our favourite track that we've done.
Now, before we hear your next track, can we have a bit of a rundown of the streaming corner that you've got set up behind you? Because it's quite an impressive show that you've kind of put together there.
It's quite interesting, really, because we were talking to some guys from America, and they said, "Blimey, you're more American than Americans are, really." So
this is the Stoke-on-Trent version of Nashville.
Yeah, so we've got the flag, obviously. We've got the yellow taxi from New York. We've got Welcome to Nashville and Route 66. Then, of course, we've got A&A across the top.
Which is us. We just wanted it, you know, be nice and country vibey kind of thing that we were going for. We wanted a nice setup because we're concentrating a lot on our Twitch streaming at the moment, and we just we needed to sort this room out on it, to be honest, as it was, because there was wires and guitars
probably a lazy
everywhere.
way out, wasn't it, really? Rather than redecorating, we thought we'd just stick a bit of a flag on the wall.
Yeah, it's actually the big hole behind there. It's just to cover it.
Is that where decorating went wrong, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, what song are you going to play for us next then?
I think, being as we've just been talking about it, I think we'll play As Much As I Miss You next, and then we'll play an unreleased one after that. So, just the story behind As Much As I Miss You, for those viewers who don't know, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw an article about a young boy or a mother who was talking about her boy going to war, and it kind of got me thinking, you know, what must it be like, you know, if one of your kids actually decides. And, you know, before I knew it, I got the story where the young boy had lost his father and the mother was going through the same thing again, knowing full well the son was going to follow in his father's footsteps, i.e. be a soldier. So it was really about the emotions of the mother, and the son kind of decided that, you know, he was going to go, went to see his father at the graveside, and then there was a conversation, metaphorically if you like, words coming from the grave saying, "Son, don't do this," and it kind of plots his journey, realising that it wasn't for him and that really his dad was right all along. And you hear him saying at the end that, "Dad, you know, I need to get back to my mum." And yeah, it's called As Much As I Miss You. Capital. Well, I need to. Right.
His mama, she cried as she opened the door. She felt unprepared, though she'd been there before. It's all they ever wanted to do, him and his daddy too. He said, "Try your eyes now, 'cause I'll be back very soon." He made his journey to the place upon the hill, sat by the gravestone and he felt like time stood still. As much as I miss you here at my door, your mama, she needs you each time it hurts a little more. You know I made my mistakes, and if you do the same, it'll break her heart all over again. 'Cause as much as I miss you, your mama needs you a little more. Your mama needs you a little more. She turned down his collar and straightened his tie. She smiled at her boy as she waved in goodbye. In the midst of the battle, he dropped to his knees, and his papa's words were just ringing in his ears. As much as I miss you here at I've learned from your mistakes and I won't do the same. It'll break her heart all over again. 'Cause as much as I miss you, oh mama, I'm coming home. Oh mama, I'm coming home. Oh mama, I'm coming home.
Thank you so much. So that came out on Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
And I know you were sitting on it for a couple of weeks before you released it. So what was it like when you finally got to kind of hit release on it?
We went,
Yeah, we did actually, because the build-up, it's very exciting, it's very intense.
very busy.
Yeah, we had lots.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had lots of interviews, and I think it almost feels. Yes, we did have a sigh of relief, but the next day you have the euphoria of like, well, it's got to where we hoped it would get to, but then it goes a bit flat, doesn't it? Really, you kind of go, oh, right.
What do we do
that's
now
done
with our
now.
time?
So happily, we were in the studio last week doing the second track of the EP, and we're in the studio next week doing the third track. So so we're still. I think it's one of those things that once you've got momentum, I think you've got to keep going. And I think probably after this EP we will take a bit of a break because we've been full on for quite some time. But yeah, we're loving it.
So it just 5 days after release, it's already had over 1,000 streams on Spotify. How does that feel when you sort of see things like that so early on?
Andy showed it me and I was like, you're joking. I was like, not a chance. And he was like, honestly, he was like, look, there's people listening. I was like, I just can't believe it's like that even one person would take the time of the day to listen to our music. It means like the world.
It is. It's a lovely feeling, and one of the nicest, or I suppose one of the most bizarre interviews I had was I was talking to a guy in Boston, and we did an interview, and he basically knew absolutely everything about every track, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was just incredible. And I was saying to Adele, we're sitting there, I don't know, chatting on the sofa about the fact that we've just done a stream. There's not many people, and there's people all over the world listening to our music, and you can't really get your head around that at all.
Now, the music video is quite something. How special was it to put that together?
I'm on the fence, right? I'm being completely honest. I'm very on the fence about the video. As much as I love it, it's not quite what we wanted because obviously due to all the restrictions we couldn't go out and film. So I kind of got what I could, but what meant the most was getting the other, not just artists, it was DJs and even my dad's like involved and getting them all to leave a message. Stuttering, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we wanted to find people because, the song, once we'd written the song, we realised, it wasn't an intended thing really, it was just a story that came out. And I think once you got the story out, you realise that actually this could mean quite a lot to many people. And we were really worried about offending people, but as we talked to people, people were saying, no, it's great,
And they were telling us their stories
Yes,
as well about either their experiences or their family's experiences, and we didn't expect that, like walking into it, going and asking people if they could obviously provide us with like a photo and a quote to put in the video. They were like, obviously, luckily we didn't get anyone going, no thank you, not for me. But it was just...
It was nice, wasn't it, to get, because, we're all in this...
It's quite emotional. It was very... I cry if someone looks at me the wrong way, but it was extra emotional. Like, getting to know the stories and what they've been through and the families have been through.
And it's nice to have, people that have supported us actually physically there on the video, so, yeah.
So when you came up with the idea of obviously getting other artists and DJs and things involved, how nervous were you when you were kind of typing out that email or the message of would they be interested in doing it?
Yeah, I think, because everybody has been so supportive, I think more we actually felt that people would want to do it, and you know we were really quite humbled again that people just said thank you so much for asking us. You know, thanks for letting us get involved. And you know, the other thing that you don't really sort of talk about or realise is that, you know, some of these artists have been around for a long time, you know, a lot longer than us, and we look up to them, you know, and for them to be, or to say, or even to, you know, congratulate us when we've won an award and say you deserve it, it's really quite an emotional thing really to have done, because, you know, some of these guys are like incredible artists, and to be thought of in the same breath is just really great for us.
Now, you've obviously spoken about the new EP coming out. So how do you find, obviously, juggling, writing, recording, and a day job?
And a child.
And a child. Now a dog.
And a pup, yeah.
And a dog, yeah. And a child and a dog.
Yeah, it's quite demanding.
Yeah.
I only work 2 days a week, so yeah, so it's not as bad for me. But Adele obviously works a lot more. It's a challenge. We're always doing. There's always something happening, but we still make time for ourselves. We still, you know, yeah, as much as we love doing this on our own, you know, we've made a rule that, you know, certainly as soon as we can get out and get to we will take time for ourselves away from music, and so it's a challenge, you know.
However, Andy's very organised, so he's like, let's get a calendar and like arrange what we're gonna do. Whereas I'm like, let's just see how we feel on the day, but then we wouldn't get anything done. So
yeah, we are very different. I'm quite driven, and Adele's horizontal. So yeah.
So with restrictions starting to be eased, have you been able to get any dates in the diary for live shows yet?
Yes, we've got one on the 22nd of this month, which will be our first gig back, and that is at a venue called The Rigger with Kira Mack, with like support, I would say, yeah. And then we've got one, and I can never remember the date.
I can't remember the date. What country music?
With Country Music Social Media.
They're putting on a festival, and we're involved in that. So yeah, but we are, because we're so busy. Really, we haven't really driven ourselves to get many gigs, and I think, to be fair to a lot of the artists who were lined up last year, I think we're saying, you know, let them have the opportunity to actually go and perform first. And
not saying that people would prefer us over them, obviously. We're not saying that. Let's give these a chance.
Not at all. No. I just think that, you know, they were signed up to do a lot of these festivals, and it's only right and proper that they should be given the opportunity before us, really. So I think we're quite happy to wait till later on in the year to do, you know, to go out and gig.
And then, have you got any shows you're wanting to go see in the diary yet?
We haven't.
No, we haven't actually.
I've just the first thing I'm going to do. So we're big Luke Combs fans, and I've just seen that he's actually doing a live stream, which I know is not live, but so I want to watch that. I haven't told you about that. But yeah, we'd love to. I mean, to be brutally honest, we are quite happy to go and support unsigned artists. You know, because we think there's some incredible talent there. So I think that would be our first step. And then, you know, yeah, I'd love to go and watch Luke Combs. We also love Tennille Towns, don't we? So I think we'd love to go and see her at some point.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I know you're going to play us out with one final song. So what are you going to play for us? Yeah,
we're going to... So again, this is another storybook song, and it's about a young guy. It's set in the 19th century, and it's a young guy working in a cotton field, and for the farmer's daughter is unfortunately takes advantage of this young boy, flirts with him, but at the same time gets pregnant by somebody else, and falsely accuses the boy of rape, and because it was this particular time, he gets executed, sadly, and then the truth eventually comes out, and the song is entitled Earl.
4.
Yes.
Night in the car, she felt so much shame. They lost all control, needed someone to blame. And Earl with the fields on Earl Harper's farm. The boy had a smile and it worked like a charm. She flirted with him all of the time, but Earl, he never stepped out of line. The brother's revenge was easy to see. The girl that cried rape and he caught the plea. Earl sat in silence doing his time. An innocent boy had committed no crime. A death row party minutes too late. A floored system had sealed his fate. Everything stopped as he ended the call. He hung his head low, but Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. But Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. They heard at the inquest the girl she had lied. Too little, too late, his mother she cried. The girl was charged and taken away, but nothing could change the injustice that day. Earl sat in silence doing his time. An innocent boy had committed no crime. A death row party minutes too late. A floored system had sealed his fate. Everything stopped as he ended the call. He hung his head low, but Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. But Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. Each year in September, a vigil took place for the boy they remembered with a smile on his face. Locked in a cell, doing his time. An innocent boy had committed no crime. Everything stopped as he ended the call. He hung his head low, but Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. But Earl wasn't guilty at all. Na 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 na. But Earl wasn't guilty at all.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. It's been great to hear some music and also great to get to know you a bit more.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for letting us Thank you for letting us do the takeover as well.
My pleasure. Saying we're definitely looking forward to hearing the EP as soon as it comes out. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.